Hi, I'm Alison David with Midwest Matchmaking, and I am here today to talk about how to reject someone that you are no longer interested in dating. Probably, I would say at least once a week, I have a client ask my advice on how they should let someone know that they are no longer interested in taking things any further or pursuing them any longer. So this seemed like a good topic for me to cover this month in my advice video thing that we do here. So kind of following up a little bit on the no ghosting challenge that I had issued to singles last month as part of your dating resolutions for the new year. I'm going to give you some pointers on how not to ghost when you're dating and go over the one time where it actually is totally fine to ghost and it's okay. So a good place to start, I thought, would be with the definition of ghosting. If you, for some reason, don't know what that is and it's never happened to you. Ghosting is basically the practice of ending a personal relationship with someone by suddenly and without explanation withdrawing from all communication. Meaning you just disappear from their life and never to be seen or heard from again with no explanation. Unfortunately, this is a super common dating thing that happens these days. Online dating has just made it too easy to do this and simply jump back on the apps, and there's no accountability. I looked into the stats a little bit on it, and about 78% of online daters have said that they have been ghosted at some point. And women are much more likely to be the ghost, to be the ghoster, I don't know, to ghost a guy than a man would be, which kind of makes sense because women are usually going to be in the position of being asked out on a date or declining another date. And women don't always like to say no to people. So we're going to kind of go over some tips here. So, this may be more for the ladies, but also for the men too. There are women who ask the gentlemen out and pursue them a little bit more. And just because it happens all the time doesn't mean that it's okay for it to happen. And as a coach, one of the things that I really encourage my clients to do is to just take that little step. It doesn't take a lot out of your time to let someone know, and it's just kind of a nice thing to do, and it's going to help everyone start dating better. The more you do it, the more other people will do it and pay it forward, I hope. So we're going to just start by going over the different scenarios. There's obviously different layers and different approaches depending on how long you've been dating that person. So the first thing I would do is kind of step back and we need to assess the situation. So let's say this is an online dating situation where you really haven't done anything other than exchange a few messages back and forth. You haven't even talked about meeting up, or maybe you did, but nothing happened. At this point, that you don't need to say anything else. If you know you're not interested, just move on in the conversation. That's not ghosting. So if that's happened to you and you say that you've been ghosted, that's not ghosting. Just to be clear, that's just the other person wasn't interested. You can send them a quick message. It probably takes 10 seconds to type a, hey, I'm not interested, and move on with your lives. That way, neither of you are wasting your time. If you have met in person, that's going to obviously change the dynamic a little bit. I would say if it's only been one date, this is maybe an unpopular opinion, but it's not really ghosting if you go out on one date and never talk to them again. That's just kind of dating, and first dates are, or at least should be, pretty non-committal. You're really just kind of meeting, especially if you're working with a matchmaker or you're using an online dating app where the first date is the first time you're meeting in person. It's not even really a date. I tell people that all the time. It's just kind of a meet and greet to see if you would want to go on a date with that person. So it's very non-committal. You're not really ghosting someone if you just don't ever talk to them again. But again, in the spirit of kindness, if you want to send a quick text and just say, hey, not interested, that's fine too. The one scenario where that would get kind of a little messy, and I found that this happens again, where maybe you're put on the spot and they say, would you like to go out again? And you find yourself saying yes when you actually meant no. That's when I would, send a quick text and say, hey, thinking about it, I don't think it would be doing us any favors to go out again. That's all you have to do. Don't dodge it. If you did say yes, accountability, just be honest and say, I'm sorry I said that, but thinking about it a little more, I don't think I'm interested. If you have gone out on a couple dates with them, and it's been a little bit more time, you've spent time with each other a little bit more, say it's been 3 or 4 dates. And after that amount of time, you don't feel that there is a spark or connection that you're looking for, then you definitely should owe them some explanation or give them something. A text is fine in that scenario. I don't love texting for these kinds of things, but at the same time, it makes it really easy to not ghost someone. So if the options are ghosting someone or sending them a text and telling you you're not interested, I'm going to go with send them a text and tell them you're not interested, please. And it's really simple. Just send them a text and say you're not interested. All you have to do is just say, I think we want different things. You don't have to kind of drag it out or anything like that. And I'll kind of walk you through the steps here too on like how to do this. Where you should maybe decide to have a phone call or maybe even in person is if you have gone on 4 or 5 dates or more. I think that at least warrants a phone call because it's a little bit more of a time commitment. But if you haven't gotten to the point where you two discussed being exclusive and dating each other and that you were a thing or relationship, I don't think you need to necessarily do it in person. Never do it in public either. I don't know why movies or TV shows always have people break up at restaurants. Don't do that. Do it at home in the privacy where you can cry or do whatever you need to do there. Anything beyond the point of, casual dating and you two have talked about actually dating and you're in a relationship, that is never okay to ghost someone, ever, ever, ever. You have invested your time, your emotions, your effort into this person. They have done so with you, and you owe it to both of you to just have that conversation in person and let them know that it's not working. You can tell them if you want to keep them in your life. And that's just not okay. I don't know why someone would do that. It's really unfair to the other person and really hurtful. So, if it's boarding into breakup territory, I would definitely recommend that while it's unpleasant, it's a part of dating and you just kind of need to bite the bullet and have that conversation in person with them. So there's that. Now, if you kind of, for the casual dating purposes, if you want us to talk about like how you should know when you should break up with someone, we should probably talk about a coaching call so we can go there because there's a lot to unpack there. But for more casual dating purposes, a couple tips to kind of go through and decide that, this is a good way to go. This is why it's not right for me. All that stuff that any person, any age, you can start doing today while you're dating is to, first of all, make sure that you're not judging too quickly. I was just talking with a client today about how going over her feedback from a recent date, she originally said she wasn't interested, but then kind of talking to her a little bit more, she said, well, I did like him, and listed something that really the reason why she didn't want to go out with him, she was kind of reading into something a little bit too much. So I suggested, give it another shot. It's just one little thing. Like, don't dismiss someone for some little detail. If there's a couple, 2 or 3 things that kind of stand out to you as a red flag or a no, then it's safe to move on. But I think a lot of people prematurely judge, and that's why we get ghosting. So just be sure when you do it, and maybe give it another date too, just to be sure. Don't drag it out. A lot of people will tell me that they hope that they'll just get the hint if they stop replying frequently. So maybe they'll reply every other day, or hope they get the hint, or like, oh, hey, sorry, I've been busy, doing that kind of thing. And that's not good for you or them. It's not giving yourself the opportunity to move forward, and it's really leading them on and giving them a false hope of something that isn't going anywhere. So just bite the bullet. And the way to do that is just be honest and direct and to the point. So you don't need to come up with any elaborate stories or white lies as to why you were no longer interested. You don't even really need to tell them why you're interested or you're not interested. That doesn't necessarily do them any favors either. All you really need to say is just, I'm not interested. People make up family emergencies. They say they got back with an ex, all kinds of crazy things just to avoid accountability and being honest, but just be honest. If you went out on a few dates with someone and know that you're just not a match, all you have to do, it's really simple. You can write this down. You can use it in your dates, is just send out a quick text. It takes like 30 seconds to type this out and say, hey, you, whatever your name is, I've really enjoyed getting to know you these last couple of dates, but I just feel like we want different things in a relationship. Good luck in your search. Nice to meet you. Send. That's it. It's really simple. It's very to the point. It doesn't leave a lot of room for questions, and that's okay. If they follow up or they, want more information, you don't have to reply to that. I mean, you've said your piece and that's that. But just kind of keeping in mind when you're dating that being rejected is hurtful, and try to be as kind as possible when you're doing so. 99% of the people that you date are not going to be the right person for you. So if it helps to think of it that way, maybe that'll help people get over their fear of rejecting people a little bit more. Just don't ever do the let's be friends thing if you don't genuinely want to be their friend. And also don't be offended if they don't want to be your friend, because people aren't dating to make friends, they're dating to find love. So I hear that a lot too. The one time that I would say that it is okay, on a more serious note, to ghost and not feel bad about it in any way, shape, or form is if that you are experiencing any kind of abuse, threats of violence, obsessive behavior, any kind of like otherwise or unwanted behaviors that make you feel unsafe. If that's the case, cut ties as soon as possible. Don't look back. No explanation needed. Block the number. That is totally fine. And hopefully that just cuts off that behavior and you don't have to deal with it anymore. So I hope this helps some of you out there who are dating and struggle with this, especially the ladies. I know it's hard and we don't like doing it, but sometimes we just need to suck it up. And I hear from people so often that I would rather just know than have someone ghost me. So you're doing them a kindness by letting them know you're not interested. So just keep that in mind, and I wish you all the best of luck on your dating, and hopefully you're having more luck than non-luck. If you are running into lots of non-luck and you want to change that in 2021, please give us a call or visit our website at midwestmatchmaking.com, and we can help change the way that you're dating when you're out there and you're doing this apps thing. We hold people to a little bit higher level of accountability. So we have a no ghosting policy here at Midwest Matchmaking. So give us a call and at least you won't get ghosted anymore. So have a good one.